Doing this morning? It's a great day to be alive. And I say it's a great day to be alive because being alive is an absolute choice. And having an idea that you're going to live today, you're going to make the best of it, and you're going to just change any circumstance or situation that seems to be in your way right now. I really welcome you to Monday Morning Motivation. This is going to be a 15-minute call. It's going to be a muted call so that you're muted. And I want you to get comfortable and just decide how you're going to use this information for your life today. And at 6:15, I'm going to unmute the call, and whoever wants to speak on the call will have a chance to do so. So I hope you've got your note paper ready, and I'm going to begin. So today I want to speak to you about focus. And focus is just so important. We spoke last week about resilience and persistence. And the week before that, we spoke about building your state. I'm making sure that you know that state building is the most important thing you can ever do. Well, today I want to speak to you about the importance of focus. I want to tell you that no matter what is coming your way, or no matter what the circumstances look like, I want you to stay focused, and I want you to begin to get more and more and more focused. You need a clear-cut plan of what it is exactly that you're doing. You need to know for sure. This is not a time for ambiguity. You need to be really precise about exactly what you're doing. You need to begin to understand why you're doing it and how you're going to do it. So the first thing is to begin to really chunk down and to decide what are the steps I need to take. What is it? What's the end result? Because sometimes the journey that you're on is not necessarily the best one for you to get the results. So a certain amount of flexibility is really, really needed. So if you know what the end result is, what your actual outcome is specifically, then if you find that what you're doing is not getting you there, then you're able to modify and you're able to make sure that en route you're making progress. So you need some checkpoints along the way. You need to decide that, if I'll do this for a certain period of time, and if that's not working, then what I'll do is I'll do this. But what's really important is where you're getting to, the result that you're getting. So stay focused on where you're going and make sure that you have decided ahead of time why you're doing it, why it's important to you, and what your compelling motivation is. Now, I'm sure, just like I have to, we've all done this, where you said, okay, I want to do this thing, and you go to do it, and what happens is that you're just not getting the results that you're looking for. And so in order to stay in the game and to keep going more than 2 days, more than 3 days, more than a couple of weeks, or even a couple of months where you're not seeing the progress yet, you need that driving force. You need that driver, that compelling motivation that is going to overcome any temptation you have to procrastinate or to begin to make excuses or reasons not to show up, not to continue to participate in your life, to continue to move forward with whatever your goal is. So this compelling motivation is really important. I hope you guys are making notes about this. Your compelling motivation is your why. In other words, why are you doing this? What is it you're hoping to get? Why is this important to you? And why specifically this? Why have you specifically chosen this? Get your way all the way around your outcome and begin to understand why this particular outcome is the right one for you. You've got to really get this congruence going where you've got your heart and your mind in one accord. If there's any type of conflict inside you, or if you don't have the belief yet inside you to say that I can do this, it is important enough to me to do it, then really go back to chunking it down and find something that you can believe in. Just tear the corner off it. Say to yourself, okay, well, I may not be able to believe in this yet, but I can believe in this. And find reasons and find other ways in which you've surprised yourself in the past about being able to overcome challenges that you didn't feel as if you could overcome before. So I really, really, really want you to begin to get focused, to understand your outcome, and to begin to understand why it is that you're doing this particular thing. The other thing I want you to do is to really become determined. You need to be determined and focused, and you need to know for sure with all certainty that you're going to get the result that you're looking for. So that means that being clear with yourself is identifying exactly all the way around what your goal is and why you're doing that. And so once you begin to see certain signs that say that you're moving towards your goal, then you need to be prepared to get focused in other ways too, in that you can decide what the next steps are, what comes next after you do this. What else do you do, and how do you keep that going so that you can constantly raise the bar for yourself, so that you can constantly challenge yourself? Is challenging yourself and winning is what's really necessary in order for you to actually achieve your goal. And realize you could be really close to your goal. It might feel like you're tired, or you just don't know how you're gonna make it, or you've had so many different challenges or this or that. But the more focused you are, the more flexible you can become in finding new ways to get it, finding new ways to get the results. When you're kind of stuck on the journey that you're going on and the journey isn't getting you to your goal, you need to be willing to think about how else can you get there, and really begin to think outside the box. The more that you're willing to think outside the box, the better off you'll be. Now, the thing about thinking outside the box is that you're going to need to be able to manage your state. If you can't manage your state when the heat is turning up and the pressure's on, then you're not going to make it to your goal. So you've got to, as I was telling you on week 1 when we were talking about state building, you've got to fully engage in learning how to manage yourself from the inside. So if you want to do something big and you want to do something unusual and you want to rise above mediocrity, then state building is always going to be number 1. Managing your state, practicing your state when you're not in a situation where it's a pressurized situation, you don't have a deadline and you're not stressed out. Like, that's the best time to begin to really build up that those states for you. So practice your deep breathing ×3, where you breathe through your nose and then just let the breath out, and you take a moment for yourself, breathing in love and then releasing all stress. And you do it 3 times. Like, if you can do that 3 times in a row, it takes less than 30 seconds for you to do that, but it's an immediate state changer. It takes you into a feeling of trance right away, and it changes your mood. The thing about this is that it gives you a moment to kind of step back and step away from what you're experiencing, and in doing so you can begin to get your thoughts together, just get that breath that you need just to continue on and to refocus, to recalibrate, and to decide what's really important for you. And when you can begin to focus on what's important, which is the end result, there can be other things that you can let go, and you'll be able to think outside of the box more clearly. If you're getting yourself to a situation where you're stressed out and you don't seem to be able to catch your breath, then you're just not going to be able to think clearly. You're going to make bad decisions, and the focus is just going to go out of the window. So you need to be able to manage your state. And of course, in week 2, we spoke about resilience. And if you're not committed beyond drawing that initial line in the ground, so that when things do get difficult, you're not still in the game because you're not able to manage your state, you're not able to be flexible and to be resilient in the different options that you haven't yet thought of. You won't be able to brainstorm new ideas. You won't be able to come up with new solutions. You really need that moment of calm where you're able to observe the situation and you're able to step out of the situation, and then you're able to go in again. So in NLP, we talk about test, operate, test, exit. So there are different things that you can do to try on to see if they're going to work, but the only way that you're going to know if they work is if you're able to observe them, and if you're able to participate without getting your emotions tripping you up, so that you don't capsize, so that you don't panic, and so that you don't just give in or throw the towel in. You just never know. Your Think and Grow Rich teaches us your goal could be right around the corner. You just don't know. So the longer you stay in the game, the better off you're going to be. So just remember to refocus and to take a break. The other thing is, it's just so important to learn how to think differently. Practice expanding your mind in different ways that you can begin to use your critical thinking and begin to fuse different synapses together. The only way you can really do that is to practice different trains of thought and to deviate from thinking patterns that don't work, thinking patterns that defeat yourself, and thinking patterns that expect the worst in any given situation. You got to let those go if you want to rise above mediocrity. In order to be successful in life, it's just a matter of how long you can stay in the game. If it were a poker game, for example, the person who can stay in the longest wins. So the thing is that life is going to throw you a lot of bad hands and a lot of bluffs, and as long as you can stay in the game, you get to win, and you win the pot. So begin to connect to your outcome in the way that you begin to visualize it, you begin to feel it, you begin to smell it, you begin to hear it. You need to really engage in your VAKOG, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory, and just really begin to see it as a movie. Don't just see what you want as a still picture, because it's not going to give you that feeling that's going to generate that kind of motivation that you really need, that will tide you over on those tricky days. So you really need to begin to do your morning visualizations, where you can see your goal, you can smell your goal, you can taste your goal, you can hear your goal, and begin to paint it like a picture. It starts off as a sketch, and then you begin to color in and amplify all of the modalities of that, so that it becomes alive and real to you. And the more you do it, the more you're creating those synapses that make it real. And if we're talking about manifesting now, you are now creating outside of your mind what first begins in your mind. And be honest about it. Everything that you ever have begins as a thought. So your thinking patterns are so important, and the feeling that you attach to your thinking patterns are extra important, because this is the juice that really lights them up and really turns you into a transmission tower. So when you're speaking to other people about your goals and your dreams and the things you want to achieve, they can tell whether you believe it yourself. So make sure that you're building up your belief one thought at a time, day after day after day, by using your thinking processes to really engage and to turn this into a process that it's like you have a TiVo or something in your mind, and you can turn it on when you need to. So if things are getting tricky for you and you're running low on determination, then you can play your own TiVo inside your mind, and you can begin to step into it and visualize yourself being there. You can see it from the outside, you can see it from the inside. So you're living and breathing this focused goal that you have, so that you're getting closer and closer and closer to it. And you can't really fool yourself, because your unconscious mind knows whether or not you believe it. And so just make a commitment to build your belief ability every single day. And the thing about that is that once you become congruent, where your conscious and your unconscious mind are one, then your unconscious mind will begin to give you different solutions and show you how you can think outside the box and do different things that you couldn't do before. It's kind of like having your own mastermind within your mind. You become the mastermind, right? So just never give up. Just begin to think differently. Practice visualizing and getting the result. Practice it over and over again. When you feel good, do meditation. Meditation is everything. It puts you into a great state. It puts you into a neutral space. It helps you to relieve your stress. It really helps you if you're focused on manifesting. It helps you to fuse new synapses. It helps you to see your life differently. It helps you in just so many ways that is a great complement to hypnosis and to self-hypnosis. And I hope you're doing those affirmations and auto suggestions where you're actually training your mind as to what you want your mind to believe in for you, and you're beginning to direct your mind. If you don't direct your mind, by the way, then definitely your mind will be directing you. So I want you to begin to just realize that no matter what you can see on the outside, it's up to you to get more focused and more clear about what you want to see on the outside. Instead of saying, I don't want this, I don't want that, you guys know, begin to focus on what it is you do want, regardless of what you can see on the outside. If you have naysayers around you, then don't leak all of your energy that you need for yourself to build up believability. Don't leak all of that out so that they kind of get you off track and get you distracted. And also manage your time really well. You know, if you spend tons of time in front of the TV, just put that to a stop, because nothing good ever really happened for that, unless you were some type of a TV researcher where you just got paid a ton of money to do that. But as far as just letting time pass by because you're watching TV, it's just never a good idea. You know, begin to limit the time that you're spending on entertainment, and decide if this entertainment or the things that you're doing, the people who are around you, are adding to you getting to your goal. And that's what being focused is really about. Like 24 hours of the day, you understand what your goal is, and you understand how every single action that you take either adds towards you achieving your goal or it takes away from you having your goal. So be really conscious of all of your decisions and all of your choices, which means getting more and more aware of the types of thoughts that you're thinking. So I hope this has been really helpful to you. This was all about focus today, and I really appreciate you joining me. And I hope now to open the floor, and whoever has a question or something to say, you're more than welcome to say it.